Okay, so here is the third sample annotated bibliography. So here we have an attempt at the using the latest form of MLA. Um, so it's hard to go wrong with the latest form of MLA because there's a lot of open-ended methods of citing various types of materials and so forth. They kind of just opened it way up and gave us a whole lot of options. Um, I would say if you are using MLA to just make sure that you are including all of the appropriate elements, because here you can see there in a lot of cases. They're not indicating a publisher and so forth when obviously if you look at the URL, the publisher is clear, as well as the year of publication and so forth. And this individual, this author of the annotated bibliography, is not making that clear in the citation. Okay, so you want to make sure that you're doing that. Again, make sure that you have all of the elements in place that you can possibly have in place. Now, another issue here is that this person is not pulling from the library databases, as I clearly had indicated, even in 2017 when this was done. So if you're using library databases, you're not going to have an issue because you can port the bibliographic aspect entry, into your document. You can cut and paste it. You can also use one of the more reliable citation devices online. I do not know if this particular person was using one or just kind of fudged it. In any case, if you look at these entries, they are not complete. It's obvious that bibliographically speaking, that this person left a bit out in just about every case here. Again, and I may not have said this explicitly yet, but if you feel looking at a citation system that it's arbitrary, you're absolutely right. Citation systems are arbitrary. The issue is that they're arbitrary, but they're also very necessary in that what they do is they indicate intellectual property. They acknowledge intellectual property. Okay, which is very, very important, particularly when creating ethos, right? When establishing your own authority, your own ethics, and also establishing a firm foundation of logos. When you're trying to establish the authority or the technical authority, if you will, of the pieces from which you're drawing. Again, this person, and frankly, there's no call to ever use a Merriam-Webster's dictionary in an academic essay. Okay, in high school maybe that was okay. In a university, on a university level, you would, if you were going to use a dictionary at all, you would use a dictionary that was designed for the field of study with which you were dealing, such as Black's Law, for example, right? You would not use Merriam-Webster. Merriam-Webster is not to besmirch Merriam-Webster, but Merriam-Webster is kind of like the McDonald's of dictionaries. Okay. So in any case, this person, and I'm not making a personal judgment here, but on one level or other, the person kind of phoned it in. Okay, and I understand that. As a freshman, I did that often with various assignments for various classes. I kind of made calculated decisions as to where I was going to put my energy, and so forth, and WIT assignments and so forth, and so I understand that. But what I'm saying is, in a labor-based and effort-based course, you know, the use of Merriam-Webster as a source, for example, or the use of or a not clearly defined or complete bibliographical entry, that to me doesn't necessarily indicate a great deal of effort, unless you also indicated in your reflection, hey, I really tried at this, and so on and so forth, and this is where I got at this point. Now, if this is your final draft and it still has those issues, again, it's not necessarily indicative of the best labor that you could have put forward. Now, again, that being said, it's not as though the entire class is going to hinge on whether or not you get these bibliographic entries perfect. Like I said in my last video, I'm looking for evidence that you understand how to do it, right? That you understand where stuff is supposed to go and everything like that. And I have absolutely no problem, obviously, with you making use of something like, for example, the databases that cite this stuff for you, or reputable citation devices. Microsoft Word, unfortunately, as was indicated in one of the videos that I put in your folder for last week, hasn't always been the best in terms of its citation abilities, right? And it may be that's what this particular person was using. Now, if we look at their annotations, these could be by far more detailed, again, depending on the source. But what I'm looking for, right, is like, for example, like in the second annotated bibliography as an example, I'm looking for something in terms of the annotations that really lets me know how you are going to specifically engage this source in the pursuance of your research question, right? I want to know that specifically, and I keep harping on this because the more that you are familiar with the source, and the more that you can articulate how you're going to potentially use the source, the easier it is going to be in the next stage when you do your report, and then when you do your argument and so forth, right? The easier it's going to be for you to incorporate that source. And when we get into, say, week 3, week 4 of the class, that's when we're going to start talking about actually incorporating those sources and the considerations there. Okay, but anyway, that's kind of my spiel on this particular piece. Again, this is not a terrible piece. This is not a terrible version of an annotated bibliography, right? It's a valiant attempt. Okay, it has issues. Okay, hopefully, in looking at all the material that I put on Blackboard for last week and looking at the samples this week, and by comparison and so forth, you can see, this being our third video, you can see what those issues are. And that's really my point in going over this with you and having this kind of thing as a sample. Okay? All right, thank you very much.